You know what, Angela? Are you ready to talk about these newspaper stories and all these different kind of articles? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Let's get talking. Let's talk movies, guys. Let's talk The French Dispatch. Let's go. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? I'm Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela at that cat lady Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk. Movie Talk for movie fans, guys. Every the movie world right into your ears, devices. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Let's talk movies now. Man, The French Dispatch, a Wes Anderson film, guys. You know, this is a very peculiar film. And it's weird because Wes Anderson has always made these peculiar style films. But man, does he do a phenomenal job of storytelling. Narration storytelling, as to be exact. And it's beautiful because it's like, dude, like so much story happened in this movie and it gets complexed into this film. And I just, it's good, right? It's a solid film. You know, we go back to the Grand Budapest Hotel, where that one's a solid movie where different stories, different aspects, different narratives, different coming together, making sense, and making it as a whole solid film. Now we go to this movie, which is pretty much the exact same style. I love Wes Anderson's style, man. He just does a phenomenal job as far as storytelling. Once again, character development is beyond. He always nails it as far as character development, as far as all, you know, just with his whole cast. And this cast in here, I mean, Benicio Del Toro, man, is in here. Like, dude, like, oh, first off, I'm always, if you have his name attached to anything his name attached to any, whether it be action movies and everything, I'm a huge fan. It's going to give me a huge, you know, it's going to get my butt on the seat. You know, what was your initial reactions coming out of the Grand Budapest? Coming out of the French Dispatch.
So I agree with you. It has very Grand Budapest Hotel-ish vibes because it's the similar style. So yeah. Right off the bat, this is not something everyone's going to enjoy. You have to like this particular style. Definitely. We really enjoy this style. We enjoy the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's very much similar as far as storytelling, the way it's shot and filmed. It's very quirky, and I really like it. Yeah. And you're right. There's tons of character development in this particular film, The French Dispatch, which is a series of technically short stories. Yes. In a French newspaper. Short journalist stories, and so it's crazy to think about it once you really step back and evaluate the movie. Yeah. It's a collection of stories. So, you know, you have these short stories that have, you know, a relatively short amount of screen time, and they have loads of character development to cover compared to, like, 2.5 hour movies, which, you know, you can see a 2.5 hour feature film and it does not have any sort of elevation for characters, whereas Wes Anderson does a beautiful job of packing so much effectively and in such a small amount of time in different ways. So I really enjoyed the storytelling in this.
A lot of story. Love
the cast. I know you mentioned Benicio Del Toro. Tons of other familiar faces on there. You have Jeffrey Wright, Timothée Chalamet, Frances McDormand.
Yeah, I was very surprised that we saw Timothy. I was like, dude, we just got done seeing him in Dune, and I'm all like, bro. But you have
so many other great names in this film, and it's just so funny to see them all together because, like, you recognize them. Like, love Elizabeth Moss, even though she doesn't have a big part. Yes. Adrian Brody, love him. Tilda Swinton, great actress. I feel like there's so many recognizable, even like Bill Murray, which is surprising. Like, and they all have small parts, you know. Again, in the grander scheme of things, again, you have different stories, but I really enjoyed seeing everyone on camera. Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces from Grand Budapest Hotel. There's a lot of familiar actors that he's used to that come back for this film. Love that. And I just really liked how it unfolded. Like, I really liked where it was going. Even though these stories didn't, let's just say, connect or intertwine in any way. They're separate stories. Yeah, exactly. Done by separate people. It was so, like, the flow of it was so great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so right off the bat, you know, this movie, it's a very complex film into a sense to where, like, again, not everyone's going to enjoy this movie. If you do not like, even Isle of Dogs is his film. So if you did not watch Isle of Dogs, or you're just unfamiliar with Wes Anderson, go watch Isle of Dogs, Grand Budapest Hotel, and those are his style. That's his similarity. And it's weird because he's always done these weird breakout stuff. You know, Jeff Goldblum voiced one of the dogs for Isle of Dogs, and God, that's such a beautiful.
That was such a cute, quirky,
beautiful film.
Which I would describe this one. It's very quirky.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, it has its moments where it's funny, but it's like natural funny. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's really cool how to see that transpire. Like, yeah. In all the different ways. So I really enjoyed it. I love Isle of Dogs too. That was such a cute film.
Yeah.
It was animated kind of different, which I kind of liked. Yeah. You know, you don't see it very often now.
Yeah. And so going back to this one, you know, love letters of different stories, different journalists. And here's the thing, you know, we see Jeffrey Wright in here take on to the reins of that story and really show us. And it's funny too, because we're used to him now. You know, I'm not going to say he started out, what's the HBO series? Oh my gosh, HBO series with where we saw him in.
Talking about Westworld?
Westworld. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna say he started out Westworld, but let's just say when he first came out on Westworld, no one really knew who he was. Now everyone knows who he is. He voices for the What If series on Disney Plus for Marvel.
He is also in Hunger Games.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like Hunger Games, and
plus I'm sure he's done so many more. He has a big portfolio.
And it's weird. It's weird because in Hunger Games, you watch the Hunger Games season now, or you watch the Hunger Games now, and you watch the recent Batman trailer because he is in there. Obviously, he's gonna be Detective James Gordon. It's weird. It's like he hasn't really aged much, which is good. Like, dude, this guy's good. But here's the thing, though. Acting chops here, man. Great actor, man. I feel like we're going to get... And that's the weird, because he has the same voice tone. And it's weird, because he could use the same voice tone for different movies, different genres, different stages of film. And it'll still sound good, because it's just...
He has such a great voice.
Yeah, he has a really great voice, man. You know... Now I'm not gonna say as great as James Earl Jones, but he has a really good voice.
Overall, I feel like every prominent character in this particular.
You know, I'm very upset though that Tony from the Grand Budapest Hotel and the one that plays the bully in Spider-Man. You know, it's funny because everyone knows him from Spider-Man, right? Playing the little bully, but I'm all like, dude, no, he's from the Grand Budapest Hotel, and you know,
I get what you're saying. You wish he had a bigger part.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of big time actors like William Dafoe who didn't have a very big part. Liev Schreiber, I think that's his name. Henry Winkler. They all are very prominent actors in their field, but they had small parts. So, but I feel like I liked seeing that. You don't have to have a big name.
No, yeah, and it's funny too because when he came in this movie,
in Christopher Waltz, you love Christopher Waltz.
Yeah, and when he came in here, he was so freaking hilarious. The 10-minute scene we got out of him, 5 to 10 minute scene, it was he ended it on a high note, man. He cracked me up. It was just beautiful. They called him I forgot what they called him, a Mexican. It was beautiful. I forgot. It was funny. It was just hilarious and title, and I loved it because they all had names for everybody, and it was just a beautiful nostalgia to see him in there, even though he was in there literally like 5-10 minutes. I don't know how much he got paid for that role, but dude, good job, man. And here's the thing, he didn't even say a word. That's the weird thing. He didn't even say a damn word. And that was a beautiful scene in there. But yeah, definitely enjoyed seeing him come back in this film, to Wes Anderson style film. Now we're giving it a lot of high praise. Now here's the thing: is this movie stronger, in our personal opinion? Is this movie stronger than the Grand Budapest Hotel? And I'm gonna say no, politely no. And here's the thing: this film, it's a good, solid movie. I enjoyed it. I laughed. I giggled. I had serious moments in this movie. And the way also it was drawn up, and you guys will know what we're talking about once you see this movie because we don't want to spoil it for you. But in regards to all that, if his other side films, and maybe me and Angela will do a Wes Anderson film ranking maybe one of these days. And here's the thing. You know, this is an original screenplay story, original story, or original writing screenplay written by other besides Wes Anderson. And here's the thing: we talk about this all the time when it comes down to films and everything. This film felt very uneven at times. When I mean uneven, I mean it felt like it was. I hate to say this though, it was just the only movie that I would say where like little too much story in there, I would say. And granted, this is the guy that knows a lot of story, that loves a lot of story. This film came out to be an hour and 48 minutes. I'm not saying the runtime. I'm saying the way it was portrayed. Just some scenes just kind of dragged. Like I could probably name one story that I did not like in this movie, was probably the least amount of story, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it wasn't as good, as strong, as solid as the other stories were. But in regards to that, it's just a certain type of way it comes out, and I just didn't feel like it would sit well with me.
I liked the stories because you got to realize these are short stories that are, and he even said 15 to 20 pages at the most. Yeah. So they have to build, these writers who are making these stories have to build and set up entire scenes, sets, time frames, characters, all in 20 pages. So, and it's kind of like a reenactment of that. So I can see where there's a lot of story in such like, it's almost like a punch to your face.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a short story.
Yeah, but it just feels a little uneven. I'm not saying that it's a bad film, because this is not a bad film whatsoever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it felt like a little uneven with me as far as like charisma. Again, we go from serious tones, or I already told you already at the beginning of this review, we go from serious tones to that's not in order, but we go from serious tones to comedy to romance to just all over the place. I kind of feel like it doesn't identify, but at the same time, I kind of feel like Wes Anderson did that on purpose. Like, I don't want it to be identified as this type of film.
That's his style.
You know, but definitely, was this the film that we needed? I'm gonna say yes, right?
Yes, because it kind of like, for one, it is about writers and who are part of this newspaper. But two, I feel like just the style is very quirky in itself, and I feel like it just opens up people to, thinking about certain things a little bit more, watching certain things that are different. It's not just your traditional popcorn movie that you go to pass time.
No, yeah.
It's something that provokes
thought. You have to pay attention a lot.
You have to pay attention.
And also he pays attention to very good, precise detail, especially because this play does take place obviously in France. In certain city, and they don't mention too much. They don't go into detail like as far as like, oh, we're in Paris, not like that. It's more mainly small town. Which I liked. I really liked that. Yeah, it wasn't anything like iconic, like the Eiffel Tower, and you're like, oh yeah, but you could tell where it was. Yeah, you could tell it was not in the United States as far as that goes. Ratings 1 out of 10, 10 being highest. Angela, what are you gonna give this rating? I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
I will agree with you.
Okay, awesome. See, man, we're on the same page. There you go. For once. But yeah, all right, guys. Alamo City Movie Talk does recommend this movie, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to check this out in theaters. And thank you for watching. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Angela, any final thoughts?
Give it a try. Give it a try.
If you are a Wes Anderson fan, or if you like storytelling, again, I'm going to say this. This film is not an action blockbuster film. It is not an action-packed film. So take that how you will. I'm just going to say that you're going to enjoy this movie. If you like the dramatic roles and dramatic presence, because it is a solid artistic film, guys. I enjoyed it. We enjoyed it, man. We're huge fans. All right. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button once again, guys. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Check y'all later. Peace out, baby.